Hello, this is Joe Sonona coming to you live with Michael Ferraro this week of LLA Real Estate. And this is my listing pros for Coffee Talk, Sonona Speak seminars. Welcome, Michael. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me on.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you hail from. I know this is our first Connecticut realtor
Mm.
interview.
Oh, prepare to be shocked. In the house. So we're exciting. We're an exciting bunch.
Yeah, okay. We'll be shocked today.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in real estate.
I am 36 years old. I just turned 36 May 30th. And
Happy
I was
birthday.
a phys ed teacher, and I was a swim coach. I was an All-American swimmer at Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven. And I'm actually from upstate New York, New Paltz. And all my family was all from Yonkers and Bronx and everything. I eventually got to Connecticut, swimming scholarship, then got a teaching job. I was a phys ed teacher and national team swimming coach in New Canaan, Connecticut. And I did that pretty much. I had this dream of being the best coach in the country, and I had this dream of like I as a swimmer was a good swimmer, but I never made it to like the national. I never made it to the Olympic trials, which I was very very close to, and I had a lot of athletes that were very close to Olympic games that I trained with. And so I was like, I want to get into the sport and really coach at a very high level. My dad coached football in New York for 40 years and was very, very successful. One of the top 10 winningest coaches in New York State. And that's really the sport I always wanted to do. But I was football all high school and swimming, and then I got the swimming scholarship. And when I was coaching, my goal was to be put somebody on the Olympic team. That was my goal. So I worked my way up from starting in Connecticut at like a small swim team, like local town team, and I was teaching all the way up to the national team. And I did that, and I busted my butt, man. That's all I did. I ate, drank, slept, dreamed, swimming. Every single level, and I worked with I worked with Olympians. I worked with Olympic trialists, national team, and I got up to the point where I was coaching one of the best teams in the country, and then my son was born, and we were living in this small condo in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is kind of the inner city. But it was a nice little condo, and it was a decent area. And I was looking at my wife one day, and I just was like, I really, I don't think I want to teach anymore. I really just don't like this. Something is wrong. And she's like, what do you mean you don't like it? And I was like, this doesn't feel like me at all. I just love the kids, but something inside just doesn't feel right. So she said, what are you going to do? I was like, well, I just want to be full-time into coaching. So full-time into coaching, and we're not making any money. And I'm like, that's okay. I love what I do. And so then my wife turns to me one day, and our son's like playing in the parking lot together with us. And she turns to me and she goes, how are we going to get like a house? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, well, they're like expensive. We don't have that kind of money. And I said, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. So my brain's like, okay, now I got to start thinking about how do I grow? Because now it wasn't about me anymore. It was about something a little bigger. And I knew if I was going to do something, I had to be very passionate about it, or else life is too hard and these jobs are too hard. If you're not passionate about it, then just don't do it. So I started to look at it. It was like a stockbroker, real estate. Like, what could I get a license? So I was watching $1 Million Listing one day with my wife, and I saw $1 Million Listing, and I was like, I want to do that. And she was like, okay, sure. I don't know what you do for that. Go ahead. So I got a license at night. I was taking like the 7 to 10 o'clock at night class. And I was reading the Gary Keller $1 Million Real Estate Agent. And I remember like being like on the fence, like, I'm going to get this license. It's going to be really great. And then I read Grant Cardone's 10X at the national championship meet. I remember being in the hotel room at the national championship meet in Indianapolis with my team. And I was in the hotel room and I'm reading it. And it was the first time that I thought about something more passionately than swimming. That I was really like, oh my God, this if I put as much effort into this as the swimming and coaching as I do with this real estate, I mean, there's an unbelievable opportunity for me here. And am I still on here? Did I lose you?
Yeah. No, you're on.
My screen froze. Sorry.
Oh,
So basically, I I jumped in and left coaching. Was jumped into real estate at around 30, 31. I'm 36 now. Been to a couple of different companies, but that's how that started. I basically had to leave swimming, burn my boats, and decide that I'm doing this full time and I'm going to give everything I had to it. And a lot of people, that's hard. That's a leap of faith for a lot of people that
It certainly
they were
is.
not ready to do.
So tell me, so how I met you, I'll tell the audience here how I met you was simply by social media. And I think I reached out to you and I was kind of enamored with the way you showcase your luxury homes there in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you and I asked you even back then to be part of my classroom to serve as inspiration to my students. And you came on and there were people there that were just very, very taken by you. And you had and have a secret sauce to listing real estate. And would you share your secret sauce on this program with the people who want to be listers?
Only for you and your people watching and listening. Nobody else.
Michael, you're great.
Only for you.
I know.
When you say secret sauce,
well, how do you get so many of these listings? How do you get so many of these luxury listings? Because you specialize in luxury markets.
Yeah, so that's probably the number one question that I get is like, even for my own team, still, I have agents on my team. I have about 10 agents on my team. And they're like, how do you do that? Like, how are you getting them? And it was the way I originally started. I remember literally going to the teacher that I had at the board of realtors school class I was taking and be like, well, I want to specialize in luxury real estate. And he'd be like, what? Why would anybody with luxury real estate work with you? I don't understand. Like, why are you thinking that you can do this? And it was a great question to ask me, because if you can answer the question why somebody should work with you in luxury real estate, I mean, you're 50% there. If you know the answer to that question and can communicate that where it makes logical sense and emotional sense, you're halfway there. But most people don't even do that exercise. They don't even go through that question. So if you had your own people in your classroom and you had 20 people in there virtually, whatever, and just say your project today is I want you to go through a logical and emotional reason why you, X person, should list a property that's $5 million. And you cannot be from that area, you cannot live in that area, and you cannot have ever sold a house at that price point before. What is that argument? But it is a huge sales exercise, because that's all we're doing. When we meet somebody for the first time that's very high end, I mean, we have to use skills and sales ability and influence correctly to show them why logically this does work, and emotionally you should work with me, and I have to convey that, right? And that's really what I did from day one. Like, my first listing was 1.2 million, and in the town that I listed it at, I had never even been to that town before, and it was Miss America's house, and it's in a town where 1.2 million is double the highest sale. Like $600,000 is like higher end there, and I did one for 1.2. So, and that's because I made and I set out a goal that's what I wanted to do. But after you can convey and you do that exercise for yourself, and then you have the answer to that, then it's like, okay, now how do I get this to the people? So I cancer, terrible thing. I want to calculate the formula to cure it. Okay, now I've cured it. Well, now how do I tell everybody that I just cured it? What do? Do I go to everyone? Do I go to scientists? Do I write a blog? Do I stand in the street? Do I call people? Who do I go? And that's essentially what we're doing. Once you have the answer to why should they work with you, then who is it that you actually want to work with? Okay. So
did you make an affirmation?
No. I mean, let's talk just like actual, like how do you actually do this, right?
Okay.
So there's geographic marketing, and then there's demographic marketing. It is a lot easier and traditional to be geographic marketing, where I will list everything in my town because I know my town, and I know that there might be high listings, there might be low listings, but in my town, I'm the mayor of my town, and I can work with everybody. That's different than saying I'm going to be a high-end luxury specialist. Doesn't mean you don't work with other end properties, but if you're going to make a decision that that's what you're going to be, then be a demographic. Now, demographics sometimes can be geographic, but if you're demographic marketing, then you need to reach out to the people that have the properties that you want to list. So I
Correct.
started like a lot of other people. I got really, really good on the phone. So I got really, really good on expireds and for sale by owners. And then I got really, really good at expireds for sale by owners and then CMA circle prospecting to the point where I could take an $8.4 million listing just by cold call, not a for sale by owner, not an expired, just it was the 123 Main Street on a very expensive road. I would make that CMA call, set an appointment, and get an $8.4 million listing. I got very, very good at that stuff. And when you're really, really good at hunting every day, and you know you're hunting in the demographic markets and the demographics that are what you want, you're going to be pretty good. What I had to learn later was how to farm, drop plants and seeds and farm to create a bigger areas. But farming is very geographic driven. And I didn't need to farm as much to be successful because I was demographic driven. And when you're demographic driven, you can hunt every single day. And as long as you're okay with being a hunter every day, you're going to be fine. But that's the secret sauce is, again, explaining logically and emotionally as to why they should work with you, knowing that passionately, 100% in your head, like I am full blown in agreement with what I'm saying right now. And then going to the demographic that has the product that you want to work with and the services you want to provide to them, and either deciding, are they for sale by owner? Are they expired? Are they just sitting on the street? And what am I needing to do that nobody else is doing? Because if I sent this message to them via a postcard, that's farming. To me, my secret is I have to shorten the space between I now have the listing and they never met me. How do I shorten this gap?
Hmm.
And if you want to widen the gap, send a postcard because it takes forever to get there. You may or may not have them read it. They don't know you yet. It takes a follow-up phone call, maybe an email, maybe they check out a website. The gap is very big. Social media posts, the gap is very, very big. If you think you're going to be the luxury lifestyle agent because you do great social media, no.
No,
How do
it
you
doesn't work that way.
shorten the gap?
Yeah.
Like, oh, door knocking, go right to them. Well, door knocking is as close to the gap as you could get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where door knocking is very evasive, and these driveways are very long and they're gated. So the phone. And that's how the secret sauce is being very, very good at talking to them, knowing how to talk to them, and how to get them on the phone, and then executing what we talked about.
It's a great mindset. It really is a great mindset. And you already have no fear in your head, no nothing in your head, just going for what you want.
In the beginning,
Yeah. Talk about the
I
beginning.
was more afraid. And I wrote a little book, Prospecting for Freedom. That was like an ebook. I had so much stuff in my head that I had to get it out. Because I was trying to figure out why I was good at this and somebody else maybe wasn't, and they were trying to get good at it. Why was it naturally easy for me and harder for them? So I was trying to come up with a reason, like explain it out so they could pick up on it and change their mindset. I was definitely more afraid of what would happen if I don't try this and having to explain to my son that daddy was too afraid. And that's why sorry didn't work out the way we could have had nicer stuff. But
That is awesome.
I was pretty
That's
I was just too scared of what they
that
might
got me
say.
right here as a father. It really
Well,
did.
think
I
about
mean,
that.
look behind me. This is who
Yeah,
I live for. These are the kids are my these are my children.
I'm okay
Um,
with the failure of trying and failing. I am not okay with the never have, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
right.
I'm not okay with that. That's not cool. You know.
It's true.
Yeah.
So explain the LLA part
Yeah.
to me.
So the LLA. So the LLA was back when I hadn't sold a property yet. I went to my friend who's now coming on starting July 21st. I'm getting him back from LA. He's back to a full-time media marketing coordinator, which I'm super excited about. But back then I hadn't sold the list. I hadn't had the listing. I hadn't done anything. and I got a listing presentation at that $1.2 million house, and I got the listing. So I called him and I said, "Hey, you ever shoot?" I didn't know who to call. Like, I'd never photography for real estate. I'm like, I don't know who you call. And I called him. I was like, "Hey, you do weddings, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you want to come shoot this house?" He's like, "What do you mean shoot the house?" I was like, "I guess take pictures of the house, and what if we did a drone shots?" I said, "What if we did a video? What if we did a GoPro in an angle at 5 o'clock and shot for the next 4 hours and watch the blue and the purples come together and then and do this whole thing?" He was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And I was like, "I'll give you like $100." He's like, $100? I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, hell yeah, for $100, I'll do that." And now think about that, right? You go get a professional photographer, videographer. He did stills, drone, 3D, walkthrough, twilights, editing, lifestyle video for
Unheard of.
$100.
Unheard of.
You can't do it today. Now he charges like a couple grand, but at the time, and so we did that first house, and he said, "You know what you should do? You should call yourself the luxury lifestyle agent." And I was like, "Are you there?"
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
now you
with
really
you.
froze.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Oh,
I
I'm
can
back.
hear you.
We're back. We're
Yeah.
back. So he's like, "You should call yourself the luxury lifestyle agent." And I said, I get tons of phone calls. If you're off the phone, if I'm off the phone for 20 minutes, it's the end of the world.
Look, we keep our phones next to each other.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you called yourself that,
So
and
he said,
then
"Call yourself the luxury lifestyle agent." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So that's what I was for about a year. And then when I left the company that I was with and I started my own, I said, "Okay, I need something different now. Now it's becoming more than me. I have a lot of people that want to join and want to do a lot of this stuff. So I would never want to work underneath a company with somebody else's name on it. That just wasn't my thing. I wouldn't want people to come on, and I felt like I wanted this to be everybody's. I didn't ever want it to feel like one person was better than the other person, or that, um, you know, it was just weird. So I said, let's call it LLA instead of luxury lifestyle agent. Why don't we call it the leading lifestyle agent real estate group? And we basically are a media marketing company. That's what we are. We're a media marketing. We do lifestyle media and marketing.
right.
So we're basically a PR firm for a lifestyle property. And that's what we create. So that's how LLA was born. And I felt like everybody could wave the flag and everybody owns it and runs it and they got their own. And there's an assistant that helps on everybody. We have a transaction coordinator for everybody and a videographer for everybody. And nobody is left out in the cold. And that's just the way I want the business to be run with everyone. Nobody feels like they're underneath anyone. So
That's cool. So that's what you use as far as your technology, right? You have drone, stills, GoPros. What else do you
So
use?
again, so think about it, and we have a different mindset and how we work with. So let's say I have a listing that's going to come on in 2 weeks. It's going to come on for a little under 10 million, and it's a beautiful property on the top of a hill in Greenwich, overlooking their private lake with the pool, and it's about
Beautiful.
13,000 square feet. It's all glass, brand new construction. 2 private driveways, the whole 9 yards. Now,
Gated? Is it
yep,
gated?
of course,
Nice.
yeah. So take that property. My vision for a company that I wanted to create was that I was not going to tell everyone that I was the best networker. Like somehow I had some database of private people or something that wasn't true. I wasn't going to tell somebody that I was the best administrator, which wasn't true. But what I can do really, really well is I have an ability to increase the value of somebody's property just through the perception. That is why companies hire marketing PR firms. We got very used to, the real estate business got very used to subbing out a photographer or a videographer to just take some shots, throwing on the MLS and Zillow Trade Realtor, and hoping that the photos, if about average, would do the job. So what ended up happening was the only way that you could increase value was by reducing your price. So people would look at properties a little bit through the picture, but having the price definitely be the driving force, which, don't get me wrong, price is a huge factor. What I said to clients is, the way we're going to actually pinpoint who's going to be buying your property is by the lifestyle that the property offers.
Right.
What purchases that person who owns the property will make, what kind of family will that person, that property have. And now let's start to create very specific content for that property and that property's lifestyle in all ways. We will obviously do stills, we'll obviously do drones, we'll obviously do 360 tours, we'll obviously do a lifestyle video, we'll also do long form and short form content. So once bringing hotel lighting, fronting the costs for staging and painting of certain rooms if needs to be, whatever needs to be done to increase the value. Now, once we have the highest valuable product that we could create, the way that this looks, like if we wanted to present the Mercedes-Benz of real estate properties, how would that look for the people who are in the market for Mercedes-Benz? So then we target market this content that we created to the specific buyers of that lifestyle and that property. That's the key, is when you're going from content creation to target marketing. When you put on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, or multiple listing service, you're active marketing, you're passive marketing. It's generally mass marketed. You have to wait till somebody sees it. When you target market a property for lifestyle, it should be a lot faster process. We should be getting feedback. We should have showings. We should have certain things because we have a product that we know a consumer wants. If you have a product and you don't know if a consumer wants it, then I don't know how you sell that. Like, how that would be crazy. It'd be like a piece of art and say, like, I don't know, I tell you what we should do. Put this piece of art in this window, and anybody who walks by, if they want that piece of art, though. So now it's marketed to the people who walk by. But what if across the street, who never sees that piece of art, loves that piece of art? They never see it. So how do they? It's got to be marketed to the individual as well. And when you get to very, very high-end properties, they still do everything digitally. But what happens in high-end is options and time is different for them than it is the normal person. Time, they have enough money to buy back time if they want it. So work is very valuable. It takes up most of their time. But if they wanted to buy a property, they can wait, because money to buy a property to stay in something is not a crazy. That's not. They have multiple homes. I have a LA home, I have a Hamptons home, I have a New York City home, and now I'm looking to buy another property. I don't not have a home. My kids can go to any school that they want. Options, which creates. It's hard to create a sense of urgency for a buyer if they're extremely well off and have never had a sense of urgency, anything ever, because they have so much money that's not a thing for them. They're not going to lose anything because they can buy everything or they can build anything. So you have to create content, target market it, and then actually create a sense of urgency with that person, because it is such a specific product that they want, which is all very, very hard. But that's where technology and marketing come together.
No, this is good stuff. This is insight into the luxury market that I haven't heard. Maybe because I don't focus on the over $1 million pieces of property. So it's a good balance that we have right now, because I'm gaining some really good insight into your world. And I got to tell you, I'm speechless. This is awesome. And if you had to give somebody coming into the business today, as well as somebody who's been in business a long time, your best advice, what would you say to them?
You're just coming into the business,
and been in business. Do both perspectives.
Let's say you're 21, 31, 41, 51, anywhere in between, and you're just coming into the business. The first thing that you're going to want to do is spend time trying to figure out like who you want to be, what makes you gets you excited about the business, and hold on to that. Meaning, finding inspiration of who you want to kind of create a career like, not that person. You got to be your own person, that's for sure. But deciding like demographic versus geographic, deciding when you close your eyes and you think about success, what does that look like? And then find that person and then go and work with them. 100%. If I was to have ever done it, I tried. I was right, because when I spent the first 4 months at a company because I thought the company would do it for me. And then my next feeling was that's not true. I need to find the person that's doing what I want to be doing or working with those properties. And I said, hey, and I did. I found that person and I called them and I said, hey, how did you get the property? Can I get you a cup of coffee, whatever? That person ended up trying to recruit me. Now that relationship was bad. That was not a good, that person did not turn out to be the person that I thought they were. That's okay. You got to make your mistakes. You got to learn.
Sure.
But it was the first step to doing that, because then the next step was I meet the next person. So that's really what you have to do is when you go and you look at the type of properties or the location of where you want to be or who you want to be working with, you reach out via email or you reach out via phone call, and then you say to them, can I have a little bit of your time? I just kind of want to talk to you. Then once you get a feeling of them and who they are, ask them, could I come on to the team? The brokerage that you're with is going, and brokers might not like this, but I'm sorry, forget the brokerage.
This is a learning show, so go ahead.
Leave your company and go with the people that are working with the products that you want, because it's not the brokerage, it's the people in the grind, it's the people in the field that you get your knowledge with. That person's going to take you. I have an agent on my team who said to me, I don't want to do anything, I just want to like help you. And I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? He said,
Well, that's what it's about. We're all a team. We're supposed to help each other.
Exactly. Come with me. You don't even have to help me. Just come with me. That's it. So I would take him to the big listings. I did one for 8.4 million, 36K. It's all glass house. He has license for 1 week. He just came with me. He went through the process, watched me take the listing, go through the whole thing. And then he got his own $1.2 million listing and he sold it, But it was a process. Just watch it, get comfortable with it, meet the people, and you'll start to be comfortable with it. But that is 100% what I would do. I would figure out what gets you excited about the business and like take the dream. If your dream is to sell that multi-million-dollar house, or that you want to be the luxury person, whatever it is, fine. Don't let it go. Don't say, I can't do it. Let me just be the demographic or the geographic guy who sells 20 houses in the area. Because you're going to burn out of that way. You're not going to like it. If you don't want to be the big guy, but you want to be the mayor of the town and want to sell all those houses and that big stuff's not your thing, don't do that. Go the other way. But find the people doing it. Don't find the company. It's not the company. It's the people that you like working with that will take you on. Myself, when I joined the company I'm with now, the first thing I said is, before you guys tell me all about your X's and O's and marketing, I said, put me in touch with this guy. And he just happened to be the #1 luxury real estate agent team in the world. He does personally $500 million a year, personally.
Wow.
Okay. He's got a $1.2 billion listing right now. He's on television, and it's not New York. Okay. It's in LA. And they said to me, tomorrow, 12 o'clock. I said, no way. And boom, next day for an hour, it's just me and him on the phone, having a real conversation.
Gotta walk the walk, talk the talk, right? No BS. You make me an offer I can't refuse. Put them in touch with me.
Exactly. And when you can start talking to real people about real things, and they know, and they could, I'm a certain level of a producer, but I'm not that level of a producer.
Mm.
And I That's
This interview is going to be worth $1 million to me next year because you're not going to be able to talk to me anymore.
Oh yeah, I will always be. That's one thing I did learn from him is that as when I
You're
talked to
very
that guy,
humble. You are
he
humble.
he picked up the phone and he was just like I see him on TV every week or on wherever he is. He was that way with me. You know, we still text. You know, like every week, and
Well, we always pick up from where we leave off, and it's pretty cool because we have that connection, and our friendship
totally.
is just that way. And we're out of time, believe it or
Oh
not.
man,
But I just I will continue this interview. This is a
sure,
two-parter interview. I know
sure.
it. It's coming up.
Okay,
I just want to thank you again, Michael, for being on Sonona Speak Seminars, Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros. You have a lot of insight into the luxury market that I still, and I'm pretty sure our audience is going to want to hear more of this interview coming up, and we will get and reconnect again. I promise you that.
you got it, sir.
So
If any of them reach
thank
out,
you
I'd love to be on anytime.
very, very much for this interview, and thank you for being my guest this week.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Take care.